Well, good evening, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, my good people around the world. Wherever you are in this time and space, is always my humble acknowledgement to mankind and to humanity that I extend my warmest welcome, greetings, um, in all of the different languages on the planet. I would believe that in the time and space of humanity that's actually been here for millions of years or thousands of years, if you want to somewhat deconstruct the timeline to, modern man or ancient man or Neanderthals. A lot of people want to make that argument. First people on the planet, again, they've tried to disprove this. Has been black people, everybody come from Africa. The birthplace of humanity is in Africa. Uh, Particularly, specifically. I just want to be working to engage in a conversation, a hard conversation around what our humanity looks like for the Black community, especially in America. What we are witnessing today with the political structure in this country is unacceptable. I mean, you think for 500 years or longer, a group of people that have had total domination, being total domination. They create fake laws, policies, and procedures that others are supposed to go by, but not them. They're allowed to manipulate the markets, the environment, the food, everything that you can imagine that takes place on this continent or in this country. And they are still not satisfied. You can imagine a person that goes or people that go out of their way to hurt and kill other people as sport. It's like entertainment. And for us as a people, about 50 million, they don't want to give you the true numbers because anybody controlling power controls every level of power, meaning the numbers. When you talk about job rates, job gains, job loss, when you talk about taxes, zero taxes, when you talk about welfare as opposed to subsidies or tax breaks, which are one and the same, when you think about subsidies, when you think about earmarks, when you think about riders or court dealing with different bills that become laws, when you think about the whole construct of this electoral process, and they got to have the electoral college, which is a byproduct of slavery to maintain power and control. And actually, the Confederacy won the war because if you look at what's going on today, it is sad that much of what they implemented and how they were believing and how they were moving was based on total power and total control. And this is what they do now. This is what Mussolini did. Francisco in Spain, Italy, uh, Stalin, Hitler. These are the same playbooks that these individuals use and were very successful. But when you internalize $1.7 trillion that go to Black people in this country hands, and we own nothing, we can't blame anyone else. We don't want to live next door to each other. We don't want to get along with each other. We have been taught to hate and despise and to kill one another. This is no accident because you cannot talk about today without talking about yesterday. You just can't. Much of what's going on today is foundational to what happened yesterday. When you think about the movers and shakers, when you think about, it's really seven families that run the world, like the Tish, Walters, people of that ilk, you know what I mean? And so often we engaging on this level, they're engaging on that level, we don't engaging in the crumbs. And they got all of the cake, the pie, the cookies, they have everything. And they're still not happy. You think about it. You have a people on top that intentionally get entertainment from hurting and destroying and killing people on the bottom. This is what we have today. This is what is called America. And many people that look like me, many people that look like me, want to be white. They internalize their ideology or their personhood. Because you look at it, all these athletes with white wives. I mean, they come from black mothers. You think about that. Dak Prescott, Patrick Mahone, and Serena Williams, and white husband. I mean, if that's not an internalization of self-hatred, you go to bed with somebody that historically have did everything possible to destroy you and your ancestors, and you actually are going to sleep with them, having children with them, and you justify that you're in love, or that love has no whatever people say. Maybe that's out of my lane, to be honest with you. I don't want to define the love and the illusion of the Stockholm syndrome. But all throughout our history, from the ancient, from the Seti people, the Kemetic people, I mean, if you look at the real history of mankind for thousands of years, no wars and no drama because they were involved in creating what we have today, living in peace and harmony. When we drop the ball is when we start believing we were gods or that we was on the level of God. And so we were uh, uh, engaging in involvement and pyramid building and all these different rituals to supposed to be, taking our possessions to the afterlife when our creator had no understanding of that. That served no purpose to entomb live people and animals and your possessions as king or queen or however you chief, I don't care how you define it. But none of that, because it is of the universe and it is to be shared and embraced by all, by the cooperative community. So when we engaging in this is mine, I'm going to Tutankhamun and tune myself, or Ramsey, or Queen Hesper. When you have a mindset that you're going to put yourself in they put you in a sarcophagus. They put you in this entombment. And this is supposed to be a relationship with the creator, which is unacceptable. And I do believe that that's where we critically went wrong. Because it wasn't not about possessions. That's not what the creator engaged in. If you understand the ecosystem, and everything in the ecosystem have a role to play. And you think about migrations, all animals go back to their birth. So we go back to the creator and we're going to internalize going back to the creator. We're going to take all this mess with us. Unacceptable. And I do believe that's why we are in the state that we're in today, as far as people of color is concerned. I mean, I'm going to put that squarely on the shoulders of us, people of color, because that's what we were engaged in around the world. I mean, you talk about the Olmecs or the Aztecs, or you're dealing with different Chickaw, Seminoles, and Choctaws, and I mean the list goes on and on about the millions of Native Americans here before Europeans got here. I mean that's something that we, and then when you go back in time for great civilizations before time was even written, I'm talking about great ecosystems in man that was engaging in everything that you can imagine, having order, having an understanding of a social order where people were engaging in socializing and communing with one another in harmony, along with uh, the system of the universe, because there's an ebb and flow from the moon and the sun, and so you have those seasonal things that happens throughout 365 days of the year, right? So you have all those things going on top of our engagement with one another based on the plurality or plurality of, just because you may be from another community, you're not my enemy. And again, human beings have always been complex and crazy sometimes, but complex. And so what we need to be charged with today, and we must double down really hard, there has to be a shock that has to be engaging in our community. There has to be some form of of a blow that's going to change and reorganize our mindset for us to collectively work together. We will not be here, because that is the number one goal. See, we're brought here to build and to die. We wasn't brought here. Again, we are a legal contraband from another country. 7 years. So we were not brought here to prosper. We were brought here like animals, bred like animals, abused, beaten, and killed like animals. You know, they didn't even lynch their own animals. You think about it. They didn't lynch cows during slavery. They didn't lynch horses. They didn't throw horses and pigs into for alligator bait. You think about that. They did not use, what's the classification of an animal, like a pig or another, some type of animal, not a human being, but they did not use other animals as bait. They used Black children as bait. And you want to marry them and have children with them, and you love them. I mean, you think about that dichotomy. I'm going to engage because I'm cut off like a tree without roots. So when the tree without roots is dead, so I'm a dead human being because I have no knowledge, understanding of my past, of my history. I don't care about it. I don't care to learn anything about it, right? Because I'm living in the now, right? And that's why we're living in such desperate times, because there's no effort to connect the past with the present, so we can have a clear understanding about how we move for the future collectively. That's our fault. We can't blame anybody else for that. We died to go to their schools. We play football for schools and states that hate us. We literally go to a college in Alabama, Tennessee, and Texas and play on a football, basketball team. And at any moment, you will get killed just for being Black in that city or state. And nothing will happen to the person that killed you as long as they're a clear person. And that's what we're dealing with. And so, what will it take? Do it take the fact that all of us have to be ripped from the planet Earth? Because what's going on now is not benefiting us as a whole. What is our purpose? What is a human being's purpose on this planet? Why were we created? You think about that. Because many of us are behaving as if, number one, we're gonna live forever. Crazy. Number two, selfishness, egotistical maniacs. And we have developed a understanding of greed and selfishness based on my needs only. If my needs are not met and you in the way of my needs, I have a right to destroy you and your community and just wipe you guys totally out because I need your land. Whatever you got going, I'm coming to take it. I don't care what you say. What is yours is mine if I want it. See, that's the mindset of some twisted, evil people. Because that is not connected to the universe. The ecosystem don't roll like that. If the ecosystem rolled like that, we wouldn't have a planet, y'all. And I'm talking about for millions of years. You think about it. If clear people were able to monetize air based on the capitalism structure, most of us would be dead today, black and white, because that's how insidious this construct of bigotry, I'm talking about hard-nosed bigotry and prejudice. Because yes, I could be prejudiced. I want to wear white pants as opposed to blue. So that's being prejudiced because I love it one color and not the others. Or I can be a human being and say the diversity of planet Earth is amazing and I should take part in all of this diversity. Because when you look out in humanity, all of the brilliant colors and shapes that are formed by the universe in our time and space is amazing. It's simply amazing that this action has happened the way it has happened over millions of years. And we just think of ourselves in 30 seconds, meaning, our lives are very short. We don't get the big picture because we don't spend no time meditating. We don't spend no time communing with our ancestors. We don't spend no time communing with our creator. We play, we say we go to church and sing and dance. But again, all of that is for nothing because when you think about a community, just Flint by itself, Flint is small enough. Flint is small enough to be a change agent for this country. If there were proper leadership in Flint, Michigan, it could be a model city for this whole country. I believe that if you had the right people in place. And again, we so tilted to greed and capitalism that we would prefer to end our lives or what is little left of our life, but we are so convinced that I want to be at the top of a burning house, or I want to be at the top of this illusion. You know what I mean? Because that's what we're dealing with. I don't want to share. I don't want to be equal to you and nobody else. When all said and done, we have a base line of equality. Now, if you choose to discipline yourself and go get different degrees and become proficient and expert in that area, then I think that's a beautiful thing too, and more of us should do that. But for the sake of our conversation, I want to stay clear of some of the trivial things and put some meat on the bones of what we can do. I'm not even going to say what we should do because people can miscue my words for anything that they want to that's shown in a negative light. You think about that. They will show anything in a blue light. I mean, that's sad when you think about the culmination of where we are today. You know, it's another aspect of humanity that, when we are engaging in doing the work in our community that's going to lift our community up, some simple things can be really, 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 really effective. It don't really cost anything but your time. And I'm pushing this, like Pusha T and Kendrick Lamar. I'm pushing, how can we really go out and meet all our neighbors on the block, next block over, next block over? If we start with that, think about what that could do for all of us. Even in the projects, when people have been living in projects 2, 3, 5 years, don't know their neighbor on either side or across the hall, but got a beef with them anytime a package comes or anything like that. That's insane. But again, that's the mindset of a people that has been totally brainwashed and destroyed, that they have no value. See, people that roll like that, they're rolling in a way to justify their existence, meaning because they are disconnected intentionally from the reality of the days, from the reality of day in and day out, dealing with lack. And then they have the nerve to say that pull yourself up by the bootstrap. I do believe in pulling yourself up. I also believe in teaching what pull up means. I mean, you think about it. We say a lot of things to these children, they don't have a clue. And they taller than me. Don't have a clue because they haven't been taught. And many of them have been resentful to men because I can't trust this man, I can't trust that. I can't trust no man because anytime I lower my heart, a guy step on me. That's real. And it's unacceptable, but it's real. And women do the same thing. I ain't leave our women out. I know a lot of times when I talk, I'm talking in plural. I'm talking to women and men because a lot of times people see me out in the community and they have some concerns. But why you say this about our sisters? And I'm an agent of the truth. Let me just say that, even against me, even if I've done something wrong, I gotta own up to it. Got to own up to it. That's what makes a real man. You have to own up to your mistakes, your less fortunate activities. You got to own up to trying to be slick. You got to own up to it, brother and sisters. I think it's critical that in the absence of the foundational barriers that we had 20 and 30 years ago, we have to double down and do our parts and not engaging in TV worship as if it's just entertainment. Being connected to a Bible study group, even if it's by Zoom. If you guys are doing work in the community, I commend you. Because that's when you know what level of commitment the pastor is working with. That's what's happening, guys. Because religion has totally destroyed. I mean, we were in every skirmish, every battle known to this country. And the dichotomy is after 6 o'clock at night, you can get killed at a McDonald's or one of them places. You can literally get killed if you're not safe. Now there's another group of people that can go out and do their thing. Nothing ever happens to them. Nothing. So again, it falls back on our responsibility as a keepers of the torch. I'm not saying that you burn the house down. No, the house needs some adjustment. And what does adjustment look like? Well, adjustment can take many forms, but a house don't need it. The house is on quicksand or sand, as they say. And what's happening with the house? They're shaking. Very shaky, man. So I really, I really hope our community, and I believe in our community, Flint, Michigan, but there are some things that we need to do, and we have to get President Sherman on board, do something, because it's going to take some financial backing and some willing and dealing. So we're going to put that in his laptop. Um, but in closing, I want to make sure that I covered all the bases. I want to make sure that our community know about our community conversation, the fourth Saturday of the month from 1 to 3. We're asking our community to come out. Don't wait for somebody else to ask you to come out. We asked in the community to come out. Let's have a conversation around everything that's going on in our community, finding some facts and solutions. Um, and so the other thing is we have a involved dads community impact where we greet students the first Mondays of the month. This Monday we will be at Eagles Nest and Brownell. Make sure that you men, I'm dealing with prostate cancer and a brain tumor. Please make sure you get checked early. Our women, please get your breast checked. Do that. You know what I mean? And start talking to our young men and young ladies about hygiene in their bodies. It is so important that our young people don't have a clue and they need to learn. And so we need, moving forward, we're going to be considering what does that look like and how can we assist in that? Because cleanliness, they always say, is godliness. So again, I do respect that analysis and something we need to get back to. Again, my phone number is 810-394-4105. MentorRoberts at gmail.com is my email number. I'm the chairman of Black Lives Matter Grassroots in Michigan. Wakanda.